The pounding on my door at 1 a.m. wasn't a knock. It was a frantic, desperate rhythm that sliced through the quiet of the night. I wrenched it open to find my daughter, Sarah, collapsed on the welcome mat, her face a mask of blood and tears. She choked out the words, "He hit me, Mom. He found out I knew about her." Rage, cold and absolute, flooded my veins. My son-in-law, Mark, had crossed a line from which there was no return. He thought this was a domestic dispute. He was about to learn it was a declaration of war. Hello, my dear friends, I'm Ash. There are moments in life that strip away all pretense, all patience, and leave only the raw, primal core of a mother's love. This is a story about one of those moments. A story about the night I stopped being a gentle mother-in-law and became an avenging force of nature. If you believe that some actions have consequences that cannot be negotiated, if you understand the fire that ignites when a child is harmed, then you will understand the path I had to walk. Don't forget to subscribe and share your own stories of strength in the comments below. This is the story of the night my daughter collapsed at my door, and what I did next. The silence of my suburban street at 1 a.m. is usually a comfort, a blanket of peace after a long day. But that night, the silence was shattered by a sound that will haunt me until my dying day, a weak, thudding knock that quickly became a desperate scrabbling at the wood. My heart was in my throat before I even left my armchair. Nobody good comes calling at that hour. I threw open the door, and my world stopped. There, crumpled on the cold concrete of my porch, was my Sarah, my beautiful, vibrant daughter. Her blonde hair was matted with blood from a gash on her forehead. One eye was swollen shut, a grotesque, purplish bulge. Her lip was split, and a thin trickle of blood ran down her chin, dripping onto the welcome mat my late husband had chosen with such pride. "Mom!" she gasped, her voice a broken whisper. She tried to reach for me, her hand trembling violently. I dropped to my knees, my own body screaming in a symphony of fear and fury. "Sarah! Baby, what happened?" I cradled her head, my fingers coming away sticky and red. She was sobbing now, great, heaving sobs that racked her entire body. "Mark, he hit me. He found the messages on my phone. I knew about Chloe. His mistress." The word was a poison on her lips. "He said I was trying to ruin his life. He just snapped." A coldness settled over me, so profound it stilled my trembling hands. This wasn't just a fight. This was a calculated act of violence from a man who thought he owned her. Mark, the charming, successful banker with the expensive watch and the condescending smile. He had always been controlling, but I dismissed it as protective. I had failed my daughter by not seeing the monster lurking beneath the surface. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. The time for that was over. With a strength I didn't know I possessed, I helped Sarah inside, locking the door behind us. I cleaned her wounds, my touch as gentle as my heart was hard. I held her as she cried herself into an exhausted, fitful sleep on my couch, wrapped in the old quilt her grandmother had made. And as she slept, I planned. He thought he could hit my child, and that would be the end of it. He thought his money, his status, would protect him. He was wrong. My first call wasn't to the police. Not yet. That would come, but it would be on my terms, as part of a larger, more devastating strategy. My first call was to a man named Arthur, a private investigator my husband had used decades ago for a sensitive business matter. Arthur was retired, but he owed me a favor. I called in that debt at 3 a.m. "Arthur," I said, my voice eerily calm. "It's Evelyn. I need everything you can get on Mark Henderson. Financial records, phone logs, any dirt on a woman named Chloe. I need it yesterday." Next, I went to Sarah's purse, which she'd clutched like a lifeline. I found her phone, its screen cracked, probably from being thrown or knocked from her hand. Using the password I'd known since she was a teenager, I unlocked it. I went straight to their shared banking app. As I suspected, in his rage, he hadn't thought to lock her out. I saw it all: the extravagant dinners at restaurants Sarah never got to visit, the hotel bookings, the jewelry purchases. And then I saw the transfers. Large, regular sums moved into a separate, private account. He was siphoning money, preparing for a new life. A grim smile touched my lips. He had given me the keys to his own destruction. By the time the sun rose, I had a blueprint for his ruin. Arthur had already emailed me preliminary findings, a paper trail leading to several offshore holdings, and confirmed sightings of Mark with a woman matching Chloe's description. When Sarah woke, her one good eye filled with fresh tears. "What am I going to do, Mom?" I corrected, stroking her hair, "are going to make sure he never hurts you or anyone ever again." I laid out the plan. We would not be victims. We would be architects of his consequence. Phase 1 was financial annihilation. With the evidence from his phone, my lawyer, a fierce woman named Miriam who specialized in dragging predatory men through the legal wringer, helped us secure an emergency freezing order on all his assets, including the hidden accounts. We filed for divorce on grounds of adultery and abuse, attaching the photos of Sarah's battered face and the financial records as exhibits. Phase 2 was professional destruction. I didn't send the evidence to his HR department. I sent it, anonymously, to every single one of his major clients, along with a link to a private, password-protected website detailing his financial malfeasance. A banker who steals from his own family to fund an affair is not a man you trust with your money. The emails started bouncing back within hours. His firm had already suspended him. Phase 3 was social and personal. I didn't hide in shame. I called everyone. His parents, his golf buddies, the pastor at their church. I didn't scream or accuse. I spoke with a grieving, dignified sorrow. "I'm so sorry to tell you this, but Mark has been having an affair, and when Sarah confronted him, he beat her so badly she's staying with me. We're all just so heartbroken and worried for his soul." I let the scandal ripple outwards, destroying the reputation he cherished more than his family. But the final act belonged to me alone. 2 days after Sarah collapsed on my doorstep, I stood on the pristine porch of the house my money had helped them buy. I rang the bell. Mark answered, his face pale and haggard. He looked like a man who had already lost everything and was just waiting for the final blow to fall. "Evelyn," he began, his voice ragged. "This is all a misunderstanding." I didn't let him finish. I held up a single, thick manila envelope. "This," I said, my voice quiet but ringing with absolute finality, "contains copies of everything. The financial records, the photos of my daughter's face, the PI's report on your mistress. One copy is going to the district attorney. Another is being held by my lawyer. But this one," I tapped the envelope against his chest, "is for you, so you can hold the evidence of your own ruin in your hands." His eyes widened in terror. "You put your hands on my child," I continued, the cold rage I had felt that first night finally surfacing in my voice. "You broke her trust, her body, and her heart. You thought you were the powerful one. But you forgot something crucial." I took a step closer, looking up at this man who had once seemed so large and intimidating. "You made an enemy of her mother. And I don't play by your rules. I don't care about your money or your reputation. I only care about her. And for her, I will burn your entire world to the ground and salt the earth behind you." The financial ruin, the professional disgrace, the social exile? That was just the beginning. The real burden, Mark, is knowing that for the rest of your life, you will look over your shoulder and wonder if I'm there. You will wake up every day in the bed you've made, and you will remember the price of raising a hand to my daughter. I dropped the envelope at his feet. It landed with a soft, definitive thud. "Enjoy the life you chose." I turned and walked back to my car, not looking back. I didn't need to. I could feel his world collapsing behind me. Sarah's recovery was long. The physical wounds healed, but the emotional scars ran deep. But she healed without fear, knowing the man who hurt her was a ghost, stripped of his power, his wealth, and his dignity. The divorce was swift. She got the house, a significant settlement, and most importantly, her freedom. My son-in-law thought he was hitting his wife. He didn't know he was striking a match that would ignite his own funeral pyre. He gave my daughter a black eye, and I gave him a burden he will carry for the rest of his miserable life. There is a line that should never be crossed, a sacred trust that, when broken, unleashes a fury that is both terrible and righteous. My story is a testament to the fact that a mother's love is the most powerful force on earth. It can nurture, it can heal, and when necessary, it can destroy. If this tale of unwavering protection and calculated justice resonated with you, if you believe in fighting back with every tool available, then please support this channel. Subscribe for more stories of courage in the face of betrayal, and let me know in the comments what you would have done. Until next time.